Welcome to Happy Today podcast. This is a podcast for those who want to improve service experience of internal services. If you use ServiceNow or other enterprise service management system, then this is for you. In this episode,
with this tool and these discussions, we are on the same side of the table with the customer. We are not a service provider and customer buying it, but we can see that, there are impacts of both of our actions here.
Hi, my name is Nico Yliluoma. I'm Customer Happiness Officer at Happy Signals. And today I'm talking here about Enfos' journey towards becoming a modern service provider with Minna Nousiainen, who's heading Service Center Services at Enfo. So welcome, Minna, and maybe you can tell a few words about yourself and what Enfo does.
Thank you. Naturally, it's a pleasure to be here talking about this. And as an Enfo, we are IT service provider. We've been here in Finland now over 50 years, so with some kind of experience of doing that. Yeah. And then my background of heading currently Service Center services or services provided from Service Center, I've been in the industry for almost 20 years. So I have some background to these services too around here. Yeah.
So you're on a journey becoming a modern service provider, and I would like to know why, how and when did you start this journey and how did you go for it?
Well, that's quite an interesting question, when the journey started. I'm not quite precise about that, but when we started measuring customer experience in 2012, I would say, when we started with ServiceNow here in Finland. And then we made an own ticket survey with that tool. So I would say that we started measuring and the importance of measuring customer satisfaction or end user satisfaction rates back then. But of course, the tooling and the whole process was totally different that we have today.
Yeah, and when did you take Happy Signals into use, and what were the reasons for that?
Yeah, well, we started with Happy Signals in April 2018. So last year was actually our first full year of collecting data and using the system. So the reasons for choosing Happy Signals was first of all, the importance of end user satisfaction, or the feedback was raised to a totally another level, because we wanted to really know what is going on with our customers or end users. So we kind of recognized that we need a new tool. It wasn't enough the way we were doing that. And then Happy Signals was around, and few of our people had seen or heard about it, and they came to me that, hey, could we look at this tool? And the benefits from Happy Signal at that point were that the previous one was made by ourselves. So it was quite much easier for us to start working with Happy Signals, because we didn't need to put our own efforts on developing the survey itself. So on. So the main things were the importance of and the collecting the data, and then the easiness with the tooling.
Yeah, analyzing the data and finding.
Yeah, well, that came later. The analyzed data. So I would say that's what we are doing today, but not from the start. Of course, we knew what Happy Signals can provide us then, shortly, but the main focus then was just to change the tooling, get more feedback, get better feedback, more written and perhaps more comprehensive view to our customers. Those were the initial reasons.
Okay, and in general, what does service experience or satisfaction mean to Enfo? Is that somewhere in your core, or how do you want to see it?
I would say it, and I want to see it as a core of our doing, but it is. We are measuring actually customer satisfaction on 3 different levels. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, and we have a special forum for handling all the feedback, so it's highlighted, and actually it's also lifted to one of our business goals. Okay. So we are following this in our management too. So it is really important part of our doing, and it is the way we have made the change, because this has been and is still a cultural change for us to move from technology-driven company to this emphasizing on the customer and the end user satisfaction. The thing is that we have tried to cover all of our teams, all of our parts, all of our processes with this, and our vendors too. So not only
you
internally.
mentioned a forum. Who is part of that forum? What kind of group is it? Or
it's our internal group currently. Might change. It's led by our sales director currently, and responsible of kind of the overall customer satisfaction. And we have like 4 members in the forum, and we have meetings one in each quarter. So like 4 times a year. And we are in each meeting, we are collecting and like reviewing the data from all our measurements and processes, and following the steps the actions we are doing based on the data. Okay,
so it's used quite widely then? Across different business areas?
Yes.
There's a lot of talk about XLAs, experience level agreements, on the market nowadays. Are you there yet, or have you talked about experience level measuring agreements even?
Well, not in that wording, I would say, but we are there definitely. So experience, customer experience is one of the main measurements we have in our agreements even today. But it's only one of them. So there are so many of other measurements too. So I'm a bit worried about that position. I would like it to be much more highlighted. Okay.
So have you, on this journey, seen improvements, and what kind of improvements maybe together with your customers have you seen by focusing on the service experiences and the satisfaction measuring?
Yeah, definitely. Improvements on many levels. First of all, we have a process of handling all the negative feedbacks, meaning from 0 to 6. So all written negative feedbacks are handled, and they are mostly handled by service desk agent, and the agent has a kind of obligation to implement the need for change in process or any method.
So they cannot just forget it.
No, they can't. Yeah. No, and those are followed. That they will come into action. So all like very minor improvements are made daily, I would say. So everything's going forward with that sense. Of course, then on a greater level, we are following this, and then when we dig in more to the data, for example, now we are concentrating on separating requests and incidents, and we saw instant like impact when we highlighted we saw that the incidents were kind of suffering a bit. So they were not our customers were not that satisfied, like with the requests. So we highlighted only the incidents and showed only incident happiness score to our people. And that started to change the whole trend. You were able to do
that with the Happy Signals analytics?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That sounds good. Have you come across any challenges with this approach, with the use of Happy Signals or the use of experience data in general?
Well, I would say the main challenges come from the other parts than with the ones Happy Signals. For example, one discussion we have had in our organization is that since we have covering all teams and all personnel, so we have had this discussion that is it fair to measure a person like the last one on the chain when the chain might be very long and the customer is actually not satisfied with the length of services, so it has taken too much and so on, and then the last one actually resolving it, doing the good job, gets the bad grade and so on. So that's one part of the discussion we have had with our personnel. So not I wouldn't call them challenges. I would call them like parts of the journey, or like needed to go and cover. When you open everything up, like this is totally transparent to our customers and to our personnel. So we really need to have these discussions.
And I assume that the important thing here is to look for the bigger picture, not only the one ticket and how that's been handled, but where in many places you can make improvements.
Exactly. Yes, definitely.
Yes. So you already mentioned the forum and you're looking at the data a lot. How is it practically? Do the service desk personnel see the data and do you share it with your customers as well?
Yes, both those. Okay. Yes, we share all the data. Well, it depends how we handle it, but we can share the whole data with our customers. So that's a big part of our monthly reviews or quarterly reviews with our customers. So we are following this.
Okay, that must be a big change for the transparency and actually moving towards a different way of working.
Yeah, it is. And of course, it's like something that when you give something, customers want more. So can you give us more? Yeah. Now, for example, the very starting point, that one happiness index, then I can show you the request and incidents. I can show you this divided to different.
Is that a good thing?
That is a good thing, I would say, because that is the possibility we have now to dig in more detailed in the data and see where the parts really are. Because when you only measure the whole thing, you have the one number, which is good in general, but that doesn't tell you where the problems are.
Yeah, and maybe when the customer sees the data as well, maybe they can give you sort of ideas of how you could improve even the things you might not see without them.
Customer. Definitely. And one of the things I would say the most is that usually with this tool and these discussions, we are on the same side of the table with the customer. We are not a service provider and customer buying it, but we can see that, there are impacts of both of our actions here. Yeah. So we need to do something together, and that's the most valuable thing there.
Sounds really good. Okay, has this had any other effects, like with your own personnel? Do you see a correlation between when the happiness score goes up, is your own personnel also happier?
Yes, in general they are. Usually it tells, there are correlation between the workload and the happiness index, for example. And then when the workload is very, very heavy, then the employees are usually quite frustrated too. Yes, so that's easy to follow. But then it's not like I can say point an arrow to point from one to another, like straightforward, because it's the happiness index is, and the feedback is so personal. And it's from the end user side, and end users don't know what we are dealing on our side. So there are no correlation between that side. So it's also reflecting the customer side. What is happening at the customer?
Of course, yes.
And that's an interesting part.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've heard from other customers is that they've been able to predict things that, there's a holiday season coming. And they've seen that the happiness score drops during the holiday season. And they've been able to sort of, before this happens, they can do something like put a little bit more people into solving tickets and so on. Have you done anything like this?
Well, yes, we have. Yeah, naturally, I would say it's based on the happiness index is forming another trend that we follow. Of course, we follow our volumes and look back the history data and make the operational modifications towards that. But supporting that too. Yeah.
So what would happen if one day you wouldn't have this data? It disappeared. You came to work this Monday and now you didn't have any.
There wouldn't be any. I would say I would be quite blind today if there wouldn't be anything. So quite lost, I would say, right now, because this has been so long one of our major tools, even though now for a couple of years with Happy Signals. So definitely we would need to do something, and not only for us, our customers are used to this too, so they would be questioning that. What are we doing now and so on. So I would say that I would be pretty much in trouble if that would happen.
Yeah, let's not make that happen. Let's improve it and make it even better for you.
Yeah, please.
Yes. So you're quite far actually with the journey now, even though you have only been there for a couple of years with Happy Signals, of course, before you started already with that. But what's your next step? What kind of plans do you have for the future?
Well, continuous plans as we have with this tool too. So I would say that we have now successfully implemented it. The main idea into our organization. We still need to continue here. As mentioned previously, we are still, as an IT company, we are too much technology driven. We need to change our focus more to the end users and to the processes. And I definitely know that we can use the Happy Signals data more comprehensive and more widely to meet this need. And that's what we are doing right now. So we are digging into the data, making sure that the data is correct and directing us the right way, and lifting up some certain parts that we need to pay attention or focus there. Yeah. And one good thing here, I would say, is that we are now, in a way, even though our customers seem to be quite satisfied to us, which is nice, we are not satisfied to us. So we need to continue improving all the time. So something like that, we are not just saying that, hey, our happiness score is on a good level, we don't need to do anything. Yeah. That's quite contrary. We are digging the parts that we are the areas where we can do
as
different.
They say, satisfaction stops development.
Yeah.
But, you have very good scores, and it's really good that you are still aiming higher and going for the improvements on small areas.
Yeah, and it helps that we have the benchmark there, praising us.
And it's going up as well all the time.
Yeah, so, it is, and that's a good thing. Yeah. I like the whole industry is changing and the whole thing is changing, but then we set our own target levels higher and higher, so that's something.
Yeah, we spoke earlier about the maturity level that you are on. You had some idea where you are on a scale from 1 to 5. Yeah,
I would say we are somewhere in 3.5 or something.
Yeah, so there's room for improvement. But pretty good, I would say.
Yeah,
it's a long journey. The culture doesn't change overnight.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any some groups or teams or some areas where you would need some more motivating, some help from us maybe, where you could improve even more, or is it a general thing?
Well, I think one area we've been already discussing is the answering rate. A big challenge we are having right now, so how to activate our end users to give more feedback. Yeah. So not being satisfied there either. So getting more and more the feedback that we need, because it's so valuable. And one thing here is that what we are building with together, at the same time when we are improving the methods of collecting the feedback, is the return way. So how do we return the feedback, the value they have given to us? How can we give them something back?
Yeah, and also show that motivates also to give more. Yeah.
So that's something that we are now progressing more with our customers, that we need to tell them what we have done based on their feedback and how has it improved our way of doing it.
Okay, yeah. So more volumes gives, of course, more feedback, better content for you. That's one way to improve. But I think you're pretty well on the journey and got far in a short time. So I wish you luck in the future as well. And let's continue our cooperation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Minna, for the discussion. It was very interesting.
Thank you. It was nice to be. Thank you.